Hey guys, Tony George, your March Madness update for Wednesday here. DocSports.com, that's the place to be. March Madness is upon us. We're going to talk a lot about that, a couple of betting angles, a couple of do's and don'ts. And we're going to talk about 3 different games today, just me and you taking a piss, drinking a beer over a fence post. My old mantra saying. So it's a big Wednesday here. Games have already started. As this video is going on, they'll go through late tonight. Everybody wants some action on the games. We'll talk about that. We give you a free $60. Come over and get hooked up with a couple of handicappers on a daily package or get a week package from me. 6-3 run, caged Hofstra last night on the money line. Talk about the money line bets here in a minute. But some do's and don'ts as we get in here. First of all, I do want to tell you we got a triple header, all small conference action. I brought on some fresh talent for March Madness, some guys that have been on the fringes with me. And you'll notice that in the write-ups are a little bit different, a little bit more like scouting reports. People that concentrate on small conferences only, blending my knowledge with theirs, and giving you a good quality product to get out of March with a big surge after a very tumultuous season. But nonetheless, we're making a run here in the postseason. Have done fairly well here over the last week or so. So jump on board, free $60. Put it on any handicapper you want over there. Ton of free plays over there, ton of how-to plays over there, ton of futures betting over there, golf articles, golf, XFL, you name it. We got it. So be sure and check that out. Players Championship this week. Big deal in golf over there. This guy's got golf picks up over there. So be sure and jump on. I think Vernon Croy's got a big one. We got, there's Rafael Sparja, I think I saw had a big one. So these guys are doing well. More than one way to skin a cat. Come on. That's what we got right there. 95% of the stuff where there's free. Check it out. Educate yourself. Let's talk quickly about these tournaments upcoming. Then we'll talk about 3 leans and 1 free. 3 games tonight that we'll have a discussion about. One thing I did want to address quickly before I get to that. My NBA's been in pretty much of a nosedive since the All-Star break. And we were I think we're 18-5, 18-6 or something, some crazy number going into the All-Star break. Just rolling. Broke my momentum, and there's been some insane results since the All-Star break in the NBA, and these injury reports cannot be relied on at all. You don't know who the hell's playing. And that makes a huge difference in the NBA. Now, that's not an excuse. But we're going to handicap them just like they're full slate of players going from moving forward. That being said, we're with all this March Madness around me, I have a high level of focus in the NBA because that's one of my strongest sports every year, and I'm not going to go down without a fight. We still got a decent record here, but we got to step it up. Have no illusion. I'm more pissed off than anybody in the entire universe about the last 2 weeks in the NBA. Guarantee you. So that being said, we got a 4-unit pick tonight in the NBA, passing in the NHL, only 4 games. Everything's chalkier than hell, and the totals are sharp. We won last night on Vancouver, won last night in college basketball, lost on Dallas in the NBA by 10 to San Antonio. Trying to figure that out. But nonetheless, we'll fire back tonight with a solid play in the NBA. Triple header, Doc Sports, go get it. A couple of things here. Moneyline betting in college basketball. If you get down to these quarterfinals and semifinals game and even a finals game where the line is 3 or less, and you do like the favorite, consider betting the money line and taking the points out of the equation. A lot of times it comes down to 77-78 final. Lay in 2.5. They win by 1. I'd rather lay 125, 130 on the money line and take any points out of the equation. The last second 3-pointer from half court. Fouling them when they're coming down the floor. They need a 3. They foul them early. They make 2 free throws because they don't want to have a chance at a 3. And they sink them both. And you win by 1 versus 3 when you were laying 2.5. Does it happen? Repeatedly. Think about doing that. Best free tip you're going to get all day. Also, these halftime lines. I do a lot of in-game wagering. And I have that convenience because I'm here in Las Vegas and I have 4 apps on my phone that I can shop around the lines at halftime, take the best angle depending on who I'm, take the best line based on who I got, But nonetheless, if you have a team, for instance, 2 examples, you have a team, for instance, laying 12 or 14 points, and they're tied at halftime or down 2, you're going to want to take a look at them in the second half. They're laying 8 or 9. Happens all the time. Take somebody for granted going at halftime. Usually a team that's early in these tournaments has a good coach that's laying that type of number. They're expected to be in the mix in the final. Coach, pulls out a can of whoop ass on them at halftime. They dial it in. They come back out. Jekyll and Hyde. Consider laying a number with a team that's in a scenario like that. Also on totals, depending on what game you're talking about. But a lot of times you'll see teams come out tight in the first half and open it up in the second half. Big arena, neutral floor, this, that, and the other. Deer caught in the headlights, so to speak. Look at those shooting percentages. If you have a couple of teams that are under 40% in the first half, chances are they're probably going to do better. And if the average median is around 43, 44% in college basketball, NBA around 46%. I use this angle in the NBA all the time. If you got 2 teams in the NBA, one shooting 40 and one shooting 32%, chances are they're going to do better than that and come back to the median, which is 46.7% in the NBA. Overall shooting percentage from the floor. Chances are teams aren't going to both shoot in the 30% range in the second half. Just saying. Just a couple angles for in-game wagering. You want to look at the same thing in college. You're probably going to shoot better in the second half. If the number's reasonable, take the over. Just opportunities. 3 plays today. Real quick here. The official free play is going to be Indiana on the first half line over my beloved Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska has recruited 2 of their top 3 scorers have suspended. They have players leaving the program. Fred Hoiberg, the mayor, probably shouldn't have left Iowa State, but he did for greener pastures in the NBA, which weren't greener. Now he's taken over a flaming turd that is the Nebraska basketball program. And they have, I think, 4 scholarship players, and I think they have 7 or 8 players total that traveled for this game against Indiana. Now, we took Minnesota on the first half line Saturday against them. They were at, 52-37 or something like that, a half. Indiana's laying 8. Indiana will be all over them. They have 2 players that never played in the college basketball game for the football team here just to fill out the roster, to get somebody. And I'll guarantee you one thing. If for some reason Indiana comes out and takes a big, giant crap in the middle of the floor in the first half, bet them in the second half, because Nebraska has 0 depth and 0 experience on the bench. And Indiana will rail them by 20 in the second half. If that's the scenario. But I'll lay the 8 in the first half for your official free play with Indiana. Clearly, this is like playing Tallahassee JUCO for them. If they show up at all, they should have a very comfortable double-digit lead against Nebraska at halftime. That was a premium play with the same scenario with Minnesota. On Saturday, we laid the 9 with Minnesota, and they were killing them. 2 other leads. Speaking of the Big 12 tournament, one team living in Kansas City 12 years and going to this tournament every single year that I lived in Kansas City, and even went to when I lived in Lincoln. Many times drove down 3-hour drive from Lincoln to go to the Big 12 tournament and party and have a good time in Kansas City and watch some great basketball. Iowa State always travels well to this tournament. There's more Iowa State people there than any other team other than Kansas. Because Kansas is 20 miles away, and 90% of their graduating population lives in the Kansas City metro area. But that being said, Iowa State travels well. I think them catching big points here, my call for an upset, probably not. I think that's too many points. That's a lean, Iowa State. And also, a quick lean here, I do like Xavier to advance in this tournament and cover the 3.5 against DePaul. Those are your leans, official free play, Doc Sports. Have a great Tuesday. Have a great hump day, Wednesday. Come out.